It's okay because you want to have the whole picture. You're gonna have a camera and all of this, So I don't know. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be secondary. Yeah. I don't know why they. Yeah.
Thomas, Thomas,
Yeah, nothing is
what
working.
time can we
We should
start?
see
We start? Okay,
because I'm not hungry with this.
right.
Is there another electricity here? Yeah, probably just leave it. But they don't even have a microphone or something. It's gonna not be really good. Oh, do you want to put it on? What would it could cover the stage, right? Yeah. Okay, we can try that. It's live already.
Oh, it's live already. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, just leave it live. It's fine.
Okay. Your
It's gonna
okay.
take a while for people to come together.
So,
Let me see if I see it on the news.
what happened with that? Ya? Okay.
Tapi zoomnya
Hah? Gak apa-apa. Nanti kita munculin yang itu aja, yang dia ngomong nanti kita munculin di sana. Nggak usah pakai kamera.
I'm sorry.
All delegates kindly be seated because we're just about to begin.
No, I want to introduce. Hello for everyone on eTurbo News watching us now. We're getting ready for the live stream for Time 2023 in Bali. Please stay tuned. We are live. We're trying to put our system together, so bear with us. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, kindly be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly be seated. For those who are still in the foyer, kindly please come to the ballroom.
Everyone can have VIP. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, kindly be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please kindly be seated.
Okay, we're just about to start here.
Good morning. A very warm welcome to the World Tourism Network Summit and Tourism International Martin Expo 2023 at the Renaissance Resort and Spa. To welcome you to our beloved island of Bali, we would like to present a welcome performing dance, Legong Kraton, presented by Niam Soli. Niam Soli is original name is Igusti Agung Soli. She is the traditional dancer and my youth is 19 years old, 90 years old. And she's still dancing actively. We would like to welcome Niam Soli. She's one of the legend of dancers in Bali. She has 25 great-grandchildren, and these great-grandchildren also would like to perform with her. Let's welcome. Legong Kraton dance is actually the highly stylized Legong Kraton, except for drama, which is most purified and abstract kind. The story of the performance, the female attendants of the court and dressed as the Legongs, who has the serve in the to the royal palaces in Europe. All right, thank you very much. Terima kasih Mia. She and her granddaughters and great-granddaughters are still performing in the Sabah. So she has actually the dance school. You know that Balinese learn to dance before they even learn how to walk. You know, the movement of the arms, the movement of the eyes. So that's what makes preserve the culture of Balinese dancing. Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Sejahtera, Rahayu. It is with Almighty God that we gathered here today in Bali. Thank you for coming, for those who come from afar. World Tourism Network Summit and time 2023 will be held today and tomorrow. Will be full of activities, talk show presentation, discussion, and as well as all other good subjects that we are living, networking and tourism. But not limited, as we also talk about sustainability, education, wellness, and healthcare. Honorary Mr. Alan Setong, the former tourism minister of Seychelles and vice president of WTN, distinguished speakers and panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin, kindly please stand up. We are going to sing the Indonesia national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Can you be seated? Thank you. We would like to welcome Bapak Madi Widiana as the representative of the Vice Regent Bali to give a welcome remark. Silakan.
Om Swastiastu. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Bapak Ibu, para peserta eTN Summit and Time 2023 yang saya hormati.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, for all the delegates of the WTN Summit and Time 2023.
Terima kasih atas kegiatan ini terselenggara di Kabupaten Badung, Bali.
Thank you that these activities can be held at the Bandung Regency, Bali.
Dan terima kasih atas kehadiran para delegasi, ya, para travel agent yang penyelenggaraan kegiatan ini dan mempercayakan kegiatan ini ada di Kabupaten Badung.
Thank you that this activities is held in Kabupaten Bandung.
Saya atas nama pemerintah Kabupaten Badung mengucapkan banyak-banyak terima kasih.
On behalf of the government of Bandung Regency, I would like to express our gratitude.
Semoga kegiatan ini dapat berlanjut, ya, dan dapat memberikan manfaat terselenggaranya kegiatan ini sehingga nama Badung, nama Bali tetap ada di dunia internasional.
We hope that these activities will be useful for all the delegates and will be good also for as a destination, Bandung and Bali and also Indonesia.
Kami di Kabupaten Badung banyak mempunyai hasil-hasil industri UMKM ya yang bisa Bapak Ibu nanti perkenalkan di negara Bapak Ibu semuanya.
We are in Badung Regency. We have quite a lot of SME, and with a lot of products. So kindly later on explore and to find out more.
Ya, semoga produk-produk yang dihasilkan oleh UMKM kami di Kabupaten Badung ini dapat kita jalin kerjasamanya ke depan, ya dapat membawa manfaat terutamanya terkait dengan cenderamata bagi tourism yang ada di Kabupaten Badung.
We do hope that our products were produced by SMEs from Badung will be useful and can be used as souvenirs for your guests, and also we make a collaboration in the future.
Demikian beberapa hal yang saya sampaikan pada hari ini tanggal 29 September 2023 saya mewakili pemerintah Kabupaten Badung secara resmi membuka WTN Summit dan TIME 2023 secara resmi.
I officially open this WTN Summit in time to 2023, officially open.
Semoga kegiatan ini dapat berjalan dengan lancar.
Let's hope that all the activities will be smoothly run.
Terima kasih. Om Santi, 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 Om. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Next program, we would like to welcome Mr. Jürgen Stemets as chairman of WTN, Dr. Peter Talu, and Ibu Modi as the chairwoman of WTN Indonesia chapter.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone to Bali. Sir, thank you very much for your kind words and opening our very first Time 2023 Executive Summit for the World Tourism Network. We're very proud to be here, we're very thankful to be here, and we're really excited to be here. It's a large executive summit, and we have a lot of experts here from all over the world, and now everyone is taking time out of their busy schedule. And we will put it to good use, and we're going to be able to do what we always wanted to do, bring the World Tourism Network to the next step. Lastly, I wanted to say thank you to our team here in Indonesia, in Bali. I know everyone has worked tirelessly. We had phone calls at 2 or 3 in the morning. We went back and forth, changing things, yelling at each other, and everything is working out okay. And thank you so much. And with this, I wanted to give the microphone to Dr. Peter Talu, our president, who is next to me, and he arrived here yesterday from Texas. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, honorable ministers, honorable delegates. It is truly a pleasure to be with all of you today. The World Tourism Network has had a tremendous impact in its young life in trying to help small and medium-sized businesses, which are the heart of tourism, to become truly represented around the world. And that could not be done without the cooperation and the love of the people of Indonesia. There's one person, many people have worked very hard, but there's one person especially that my colleague Thomas Steinmetz and I would like to thank. And that's our friend Moody, who has worked literally, I cannot imagine a day without speaking to her. And so, as a very small gift of our appreciation, as she has shared so much of her country with us, we wanted to share something of our country with her. And so, Moody, this is a very small, where are you? It's a very small gift with a lot of paper because I didn't want to break it. Of all the various sites of Washington, D.C., our capital, this is for you. And our cup runs over with happiness for being with you. Thank you so much for everything you've done. And now Moody will say a few words as a chairman and president of the Indonesian chapter.
Thank you. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to all the eTN Worldwide Network members and non-members that is participating through online or offline, or through offline and online. Humbly would like to thank and giving highly appreciation to the President of WTN, Dr. Peter Thago, and the Chairman and leaders of WTN think tank group, Mr. Jürgen Thomas Steinmetz. Please give applause to our President and the Chairman of WTN. Thank you. So they have been working consistently and passionately on building WTN vision and mission objective to be the facilitator of SME tourism globally. As we are aware, SME tourism is taking majority in numbers among global tourism industry players worldwide. Hence, the facilitation of WTN to create platform to become one big family that enable us to communicate, engage, and challenge and find solutions together was indeed the pioneer step that has been taken by WTN and creating today's instrument that we in SMEs tourism is most needed. COVID pandemic 19 has been given us the best lesson to be learned, though it's painful lesson, but I think it gives us deep understanding that in the most precedented ways, that in fact, we are dependent one to another. Once again, we must honor WTN organization initiative that could bring us together here in the first WTN Summit Time 2023 in the Renaissance Hotel Uluwatu, Bali. And I'm very much hoping that the 2 days conference will take us and move forward by engaging collaboration and partnership for reciprocal benefit in the area of managing and marketing sustainable tourism destination in our home country. WTN Indonesia chapter, I would like to bring to the table discussion with fellow WTN members worldwide to engage collaboration and creative economy. To engage collaboration on creative economy as it is the backbone for tourism. In Indonesia, the potential of Indonesian creative economy has been presented during World Conference Creative Economy 2022 in Nusa Dua, Bali. In regards, we like to pursue the implementation by pioneering an actions to provide digital hub for stakeholders, that is companies and individuals, to work on certain sectors in the area of creative investment, policies, marketing, project, events, art, culture, and fashion. Education, which is crafted with the core values of innovation, culture, and creativity. In the case of pushing the creative economy potential to grow, I believe in this way, together we can create more colorful collaboration and supporting quality tourism and sustainable tourism development in our home country with the facilitation of WTN organization and the members worldwide will have unlimited opportunity to partner and collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is then the chairman and the chairwoman of Indonesia WTN chapter. Now we would like to invite the interactive discussion about meaning, the World Tourism Network, why it was started, and WTN wants to achieve, and where we are standing. So, meet the founding members, Chairman, Judith Emmons, please kindly share the discussion.
Here, over here.
Okay, thank you very much. I also wanted to say before I started, a special thank you to all our, to everyone listening and watching us now on our various social media channels, also on eTN News, on our partners and affiliated news channels. You're live. We're live in Bali, in Indonesia. Right now, we have time 2023, our very first summit for the World Tourism Network. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz, and I'm the one who, I think, came up initially with the idea of putting this conversation together, and I wanted to share a little bit of the history. I've shared with many already, so many of you might know already, but it's important because it all started somehow in Bali, in Indonesia. And when I go back all the way to 2000 and 2001, under the late Minister of Tourism, Pa Adhika, at the time, and before there was an eTN News, many of you know me about the publisher of eTN News. eTN News was started right here at the Alam Resort in Kuta, in Indonesia, in Bali, with the purpose of counter the US travel warnings against Indonesia at the time. We were hired by the Ministry of Culture and Tourism to increase tourism from the United States and Canada to Indonesia. And of course, Bali is the major source market for Indonesia. And at the same time, there were some political challenges in the country, in different parts of the country, that triggered many other large news organizations to say it's not safe, and triggered a lot of confusion. And we were here and say, so how can we get a message to the travel industry that everything is absolutely perfect here in Bali and in most parts of Indonesia, when other news media are saying there is unrest and it's not safe, and the US government say to be careful. So what we did, email just started at the time. We thought, okay, why not go into an email system? So we went to some of our friends here, like Pakto, for example. We went to ASETA, many of the different organizations said, do you have a list of emails of travel professionals, specifically in North America, you can share with us? We're going to try to do something no one else has done, and we set up a Yahoo group. And this Yahoo group was designed to get the first mass mailing, really, through travel agents in the United States. So we had 14,000 people in there initially. And out of this, we called it eTN News because we had a sponsor, an Indonesian company by the name of eTN Hotels, that had developed a lot of the websites here in Indonesia at the time. So where's WTN coming into this early play? At the same time, what we were trying to do is get the private sector together with the public sector. We kind of understood sometimes the private sector didn't understand the public sector and vice versa. And we started an organization called ICTP. It was called the Indonesian Council of Tourism Partners. And Indonesian Council of Tourism Partners had members mostly from Indonesia, and those that are selling Indonesia as travel. Out of later on in the years, I'm going to make this story now a lot shorter, out of this developed the International Council of Tourism Partners. I did together with our friend Professor Jeffrey Lipman, and it dealt with sustainable tourism. Again, a lot of the focus included Indonesia. And finally, out of ICTP, we went into climate change, but really at the 2020 ITB trade show in Berlin that was cancelled because COVID developed in Europe, in Italy at the time specifically, we were putting a discussion together on how the industry should react to COVID. We called it Rebuilding.Travel discussion. And invited to this, we had about 300 people registered for it, and then ITB was cancelled. And we still managed to get about close to 50 people together at the Hyatt Hotel in Berlin. And there were from 40 some countries. So we did this together with PATA, the Pacific Asia Travel Association, with the Nepal Tourism Board and the African Tourism Board. Now this discussion went on. Many of you were part of it, with Zoom discussions. Everyone that was here really, I think, was almost part of it. Alexandra was one of the first one from Montenegro. And our discussions were quite meaningful and also reached the top of the people in the travel and tourism industry that are sometimes very hard to reach because everyone has time, everyone was locked up and everyone wanted to do something. So it was the perfect place to have a discussion was Zoom. So about a year later, the end of 2020, Dr. Peter Tarlow, who was with it, came up with the idea, why don't we form this into an association? And I said, we don't really want to be an association because then PATA and everyone thinks we're competing with them, but we didn't want to do. We wanted to be a network and complementary to everyone. So we decided, let's start the World Tourism Network. So when we started, we invited all those people that had participated in Rebuilding.Travel discussions to join us. And currently, with a few years later, we have a total indirect membership of more than 18,000 people. Out of this, they're not all paying. If they're all paying, I think we all would have come first class and have a fancy lunch here. Now, most of them are observers. They came in, it's free to join us as an observer, join our LinkedIn group, what is one of the most, I would say, realistic and successful LinkedIn group on sustainable tourism, the WTN group. It has more than 16,800 stakeholders in. Many of them are SMEs, but we also even have the head of the Saudi investment group in there. So we have a lot of people there. We have ministers. We don't allow advertising. It's a real exchange of information, and it is free. But of course, our bread and butter to make this organization grow is membership, and we currently have a little bit more than 1,200 members, but they're in 133 countries, so we're quite international. So what are our goals? Why is WTN here? I think we were able to define our goals. Since we have an equally good relationship with many of the ministers of tourism, we all know I know through our publication, my publication, what started here in Bali in 2000, with the oldest one in the world, and probably one of the most influential one. It is easy for us to get to the public sector many times, even though ministers change, but governments are still there. So we can reach these guys. Many times when you deal with ministers, they're on a different level. They're on what we call a VIP level. And a lady who was a minister herself can probably tell us a little bit more about this in a minute. But they have more different issues to discuss and come together with. This is policy making, political issues, geopolitical issues, what is not really our part directly. But we're going to watch these guys, because what we are reaching out to is also not, before I tell you who we reach out to, not the big companies necessarily of the world. So our friends here at Marriott, we welcome for you to be a member, Marriott Hotel, but we don't want you to lead this organization. We want you to be part of the discussions like we want the public sector part of this discussion and in our membership, but really who we want to lead this organization are the SMEs, the medium and small sized businesses in the world, to give them an equal voice, a seat on the table, and where we can help with expertise from all around the world, from all sort of lives in the industry, to come up with advice, and hopefully if we generate income and membership, also with practical advice where we hire other experts to make certain changes in the world, to just make sure everyone is treated equally, there's an equal chance for everyone to work. It is very hard, and I can see this. We just had a discussion for breakfast here this morning, for example, for a small hotel here in Bali, an independent hotel in Bali, to get to the US market. How do you get to the US market? You with your own product, without a middleman. It's impossible because people don't trust you, they don't know you. So you gotta go to Expedia. Expedia is one of these big guys. You're gonna lose a lot of money on your commission. I've seen it during the crisis here in Bali, back after the tsunami situation, after the bomb attack many years ago, when you saw hotel prices for medium-sized, beautiful, privately owned hotels for $30 a night, and then there's the 5-star Sheraton for $35 a night. Guess where people would book? They would book the 5-star Sheraton, and the small guys are going to be pushed out of business. So this is what our organization is all about, to identify these problems and find a way, how can we help our members to address these problems, how we can use our global reach through media with our media partners, including my own eTurbo News, to get the message out so we can balance the situation in the world, how people look at business. And this really, in a nutshell, is what World Travel Tourism Network is doing. How did we do it so far? We're very young, we're building, we need every one of you and all our members to contribute to it because we don't have a set concept. We cannot hire $1,000 an hour our lawyers to do this job. We have to do it ourselves, and we all are passionate. And that's what so many are here, even though we may have not had the sponsored airline tickets for everyone, they're paying their own money because they say it's important. And these are really the people who make a difference. It's not the people that come in massive amount in a conference and then leave and have a coffee and go home. It's the people who can do and work with us. And that's why I so much appreciate everyone coming here, because I know it took a personal sacrifice to do this. And these are the leaders we like to recognize. So in the way forward, we started with interest groups. We have a number of interest groups that deals with hospitality, with aviation, with advocacy for certain issues that come up, and also with comment making. So we, as you probably see in my own publication, we have been making comments on almost every situation in the world. We're not shy to open our mouth and say something that people do listen, because we get the feedback for it now. So that is already working. The next thing we're doing, and there is my friend Udi Astudi, who I know, she's almost like my sister from like 1999. So we trust each other and work with her for so many years. And Udi is a typical example of a passionate lady who was able to put our first, I think, really functioning chapter together here in Indonesia. And I'm so proud of you, Udi. I cannot tell you, you really have made a huge difference for our young organization, and many others are looking up to you. So in the meantime, because of Moody's effort here in Indonesia, I can say we now have also a Malaysian chapter. We are announcing with this officially to have, as of today, a chapter in Nepal. Deepak, who was the former CEO of the Nepal Tourism Board and is now our chapter president, could not get a visa for Indonesia. That's a thing to tackle with the public sector. Why is it so difficult to get a visa for a country? And these are issues I think we would love to work and cooperate and make travel a little bit smoother and easier, but he's giving everyone his regards. He would have loved to be here. But we do have our chapter. We didn't get a visa for the chapter. And I know these same type of initiatives are currently emerging in many other parts of the world. Our chapters will be announced shortly, in the Caribbean, for example. And so we're growing, and everyone is looking at Moody, what she's doing here in Indonesia. So Indonesia has been shadowed our big example, really from the beginning of the publication of ICTP, rebuilding, and now of World Tourism Network. With this, maybe before Moody is our main person here, because she put this together, I would maybe like to give the microphone to our president, Dr. Peter Talo, who I also have to say talk to every single day. There's not one day we don't talk. And so we even though we haven't seen each other for a while now, first time after COVID, Peter, I think.
Yes.
And but we talk every day, and without Peter, WTN wouldn't be in place. And then after this, Alain St-Ange was, of course, the Minister of Tourism for Seychelles. He was the person behind the carnivals of the carnival, a gentleman who's in tourism and breathes tourism, and he has been extremely involved and helpful. He's leading our advocacy at VP for the public sector. He's been in the public sector, he understands the public sector. So he will tell you more about this. And after we do this introduction here and get your questions and input, because that's what it's all about, we can go to the next step. Peter.
Thank you, Jürgen. It's truly a pleasure to be with you all this morning. You are hearing many different accents, from Ireland, Britain, to Indonesia, to Texas, to New York. So many, many different accents. I want to thank Moody and Jürgen. Jürgen is right, there's not a day that we don't speak, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. I feel like Moody, I've known my whole life, even though I'm just meeting her now for the first time. And I'm very honored also, my son Nathaniel is here. He's a lawyer, and he's going to actually be giving us some insights tomorrow about the importance of understanding the law and international tourism. I think before I go into my section, as you have not yet met Alain, I'm going to pass the microphone first to him, let him say, with his permission, a few words, and then afterwards I will say some words. But many of you know Alain, but you're going to hear him now for the first time when it comes to WTN. So, Alain, merci.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tal. Good morning, everybody, and I think it is a real honor to be in Bali. Of course, we all know Bali, the center of tourism for Indonesia. And too often when you think of Indonesia, you think of Bali, you forget that there is more to Indonesia. But Bali made its mark. Bali is the name that people refer in that benchmark of tourism. But having listened to Jürgen or Thomas, I feel we need to also, as we all sit here, find a way for you all to get involved in it. We're not here just to listen to old Americans sitting together and somebody from the Indian Ocean and Moody. We need to actively get you all. I mean, there's a lot of distinguished people. There are 2 doctors on the front who told me earlier, if I have a heart attack, they are here with little tablets to revive me. So we need to see how we get everybody actively involved. But I checked with our president just now, and I like to often break the mold, go beyond what I'm entitled to do. And Dr. Tal told me, yes, go ahead. I said, clearing with Moody, and he says, no, I am the chairman, I'm the president, so go ahead and do it. So I'd like to, with your permission, and I'm sure Moody, you will never fight with the president, because in Africa they kill you to do it. So you're not allowed to say no to a president. But let me invite the governor. Governor, come up. Governor. There's only one governor, so please come up. Come on stage. Come and stand right here. I mean, we need to, it's not every day we need a governor. I mean, where I come from Seychelles, we're a British colony, and to respect Mr. Lipton, when we had a governor, they had long hats with plumes on top, and they wore white clothes, and then you realize that this was the governor. But today we are in Bali, and it's the custom of Bali that the governor of the day is here with us, and will respect you. But for us to say thank you to you, I'm from a very small island. Bali is an island. And today or tomorrow, when I take the floor, I will speak about the importance of small islands in tourism. And if something that Seychelles does well, and Bali does well, is tourism in small islands. And how do we get the small people, they are not big businesses, they are all small people, that rally together to make it work. But as I have a governor here, and I know Thomas told me this morning in a message, not to do it, but the chairman said do it. So we will, today's a big day for me. Big day because coming from Ladik that has 1,500 people, that's where I was born. And you find yourself touching the world at large because of your work. And my work has only been tourism, apart from politics. It's only been in tourism. I breathe tourism, I live tourism, I smell tourism, and I believe in tourism. So somebody in Indonesia, with somebody in the Indian Ocean region from Reunion Island, decided to take a chunk from my own autobiography and turn it into a biography of my work in tourism. And I think there is no better place and no better time for me to give a copy to the government and also to the three people that represent WTN. Different groups, a governor, a state of Indonesia, and the representative of Bali. But then the heads of a tourism organization. And I like, Mr. Canis, you bring me 4 books. 4 books. And I'd like to take that opportunity. It wasn't done by me, but it's done by somebody else. But today, as we make it known to the world that this book has been launched, I want to offer you, Governor, the first copy. And it is a marking time. And I'm sure after today, if you need somebody to do one for you, call Mr. Canis. You can have the life of the governor of Bali. Thank you very much. Thank you. But I'll also give one to the president of the organization, Dr. Talo.
Thank you.
Moody, the head of the Bali chapter, Indonesia.
Thank you so much.
And Jorgen, my good friend.
Thank you.
In there you will find a lot of writings about Jorgen, what he did, and how he pushed me.
Let me read this.
But I'd also like to get Jeffrey to come and read the one. And I'd like to give a copy to Jeffrey. Jeffrey has been, for those that don't know Jeffrey, I'm sure everybody knows Jeffrey, but in case somebody doesn't know the new one, Jeffrey has been the vice chairman or the deputy secretary general of the World Tourism Organization before he embarked on a larger scope in life. My good friend, your help has been tremendous. Thank you very much. So with this issue, but you can sit here. You're the governor. I mean, you know. I mean, how can I be on top and you down there? It doesn't make. Governors are governors. They take charge of everything. But world travel, the World Tourism Network, is more than just us. It's much more than that. It is actually you. It is actually the small businesses. It is actually the world of tourism that comes together. And I think this is why I made the effort to land here last night, very late, to my room at 1:30. It is important that we all meet. Zoom meetings are good, but face-to-face meetings. We judge each other. We meet each other. And then we appreciate each other. I've discussed with Moody often. Zoom, different ways of talking to each other. And then, of course, messages through WhatsApp. So this morning I met Moody. And she put me in a better mood immediately. I mean, mood is good at changing your mood. Because when you meet Moody, you realize that tourism is a people's organization. And people's organization, we need to meet people. And I think this is why this meeting can really be important, because we are meeting people. I would say, when I give the mic back to the president, let us make the most of this meeting. Let us give an opportunity for each one of us to succeed in our own way. We all have different aspirations. We all have different needs and wishes and wants. But for us to make it work, let us find out your wish, and it fits into what Moody is proposing for Indonesia and in Bali. And then together, we will have a tsunami that will not destroy Indonesia, but that will create the wealth for Indonesia and each one of us. Have a good meeting, have a good day with us.
Thank you, Minister Alain. Your Honorable Governor, Moody, Jürgen, I want to thank all of you, everyone who's officially here and those who are not here, to be with us this morning. This was meant to be a small meeting, not a large meeting, so that we could get to know each other. And I think, for example, the interaction now between Alan and Jeffrey was typical of what we wanted to do, to create the experience where we have the time to talk to each other, to know each other, and to find out what we are. And that's really what small meetings, that's what an SME is all about. It's not meant to be just a number. It's meant to be a human being. And all too often in tourism, we become numbers instead of people. And this organization, WTN, is dedicated to making each one of us the beauty and the individual of someone made specifically in the image of God. That makes it very special. Now, SMEs cannot survive if they do not work with governments and if they do not work with the general population. We saw that in examples today. Some of the people could not get here because they could not get visas. One of the things we need to do is to work to make the visa process more simple. I was advised to try to get an electronic visa. After almost 2 hours, I gave up. And I met somebody on the plane who said, yes, they did succeed, but it took 3.5 hours of playing with the website in order to get an electronic visa. We can't accept that. Maybe the big guys can accept it, but small and medium enterprises need us to make the world efficient and simple so that people can actually get here. Because if they can't get here, then we will lose the business that we need. That's what WTN is all about. It's looking at the problems in each region and trying to make it. Now, I've never been to Indonesia before. I certainly have never been to Bali. But my son has spent a good deal of time here. And he kept telling me, maybe you'll get a chance to come to Indonesia. The people are wonderful. You'll feel the warmth. You'll feel the caring. And I must say, in the little time that I've been here, that's definitely something that I felt. That's something that you cannot quantify, but it's something that touches the heart. Our organization, WTN, is about linking hearts, making people understand each other. And our work on the next 2 days is how do we create a world in which there's more peaceful, more loving, more caring, making a world that's going beyond simply pay your money and come. It's about taking away memories. I think Alain, you spoke about that. We are in the business of selling beautiful memories. We're not experiences. The experience is nothing more than a way to get to a memory. When we leave a place, that's when the memory first begins. They can be good memories, or they can be terrible memories. WTN is dedicated to making good memories. That means we have to make sure that the environment is beautiful, that we have clean water, clean air, that it's safe, that people, when they work with whomever, be it the police officer or be it the person at the front desk, is greeted with a smile and a sense of love and caring. We have been working for the last 3 years diligently to try to create ways that we can unite the world. Tourism is nothing more than a methodology to unite the world. Each one of us has our own particular story. Each one of us has our own individual history. Today is a very special day in my culture, in the Jewish world, because we represent the 40 years of wandering in the desert. We could either be in a world of wandering, or we could be in a world where we get to our promised land. WTN is all about getting to that promised land. WTN is all about helping the small guy and the middle guy find a way to make his or her mark in a world that is often too big and too overwhelming. We're going to have many challenges in the future. We have, unfortunately, wars in the world. Unfortunately, we face some economic crises. Unfortunately, we have a world in which the economies are falling apart and the ecologies are falling apart. In order for the small guy to succeed, he cannot change the world alone. But when we join hand in hand together, then we become a force for good. And that's what WTN is all about. Joining hands, creating a world in which we go from the desert to a promised land, from emptiness to a world filled with goodness. And if we can do that, then these 2 days are truly wonderful days. They're days when we can make the world just a little bit better, a little bit safer, a little bit happier. And by doing so, tourism becomes a bright star in the constellation which we call hope.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. Moody wants to hear. And since we got Jeffrey here, Jeffrey and I, as I said, we started ICTP after Indonesia. We also go way back. And to a little bit background, Jeffrey, he was the first CEO of the World Travel and Tourism Council, an organization that deals with 100 or 200 most largest companies in the world. So he has that part of experience. He was also a Deputy Secretary General for the UNWTO, the World Tourism Organization, the UN organization that deals with governments and tourism. And he's now passionate and will have actually a big announcement here at our event and another session about climate change and environmental issue. That's really his passion now. And yes, he also has been essential with to help WTN despite all his other commitments with SunX and Malta. And I'm very glad you're here, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Thomas, Moody, Peter, Governor Allahan. I really want to talk about climate change, but he won't let me do it now. And the program has changed more than the climate. So I really don't know whether I'm going to get to speak about climate change. And if I do, I'm afraid I'm not going to make you as happy as my colleagues have made you. Because if you remember anything about what I say today, it's that much as I love my friends up here, and it's great to come and meet them, I don't think tourism is going to make the difference in our world that Alan believes, or Peter believes, or Thomas believes. I think things are changing so much around us, and things which are completely beyond our control, that the big question for tourism in the future is going to be, in a totally different world, how can we survive? How can we ensure, and it won't be about getting visas, it'll be about what happens if it gets so hot that people don't actually want to come to a country that they came to before because they came for the heat? Or it's so cold because they came because they could ski but there's no snow. So I'm afraid I'm not being such a helpful person to your pleasant introduction, Alan. And I'm sure you're regretting that you asked me to come up on this stage. But I would be not being true to myself if I did not tell you the issues that concern me. And what I think is great about my good friend Thomas is that he gets the messages out. And he does it spontaneously, as you did with your speech this morning. I know that you had about 4 seconds of preparation. And he does it in an enormously friendly and positive way. And I came here today because Thomas said, why don't we meet in Indonesia in a few months' time? And I said, that's a good idea. And he said, Moody will be there. And I heard a lot about Moody, but we never actually met. And I thought, well, there isn't a better place to go to than Bali. And if he does let me talk at all today, I'm going to talk about how Bali can be an inspiration for small islands, Alan, and for the world's poorest countries to actually change to deal with the crisis which is here and which can only get worse. And where tourism is a big player, I'm afraid, Alan, we cannot declare war on Russia, much as it would be a good thing to do. I'm afraid we can't do that. What we can do is prepare for the war that we are going to face, which is the changing climate. So I'm sorry to spoil your party, but as I wasn't expecting to speak, I didn't prepare my nice speech.
No, that's what I love about Jeffrey, you know. So now to the most humble person in this room, Ms. Moody Asturi.
Thank you, Thomas. So I have to repeat again, thank you to Dr. Peter Tano, Mr. Santan and IG, Madi, and Prof. Jeffrey Limited. We are so honored to have everyone here in the room with all the huge knowledge and experience. We would like to learn from them. They have applied to the highest rank of tourism globally, and we would like to learn from every one of them here and the panelists that is also attending this event. I just would like to also highlight one thing that Thomas was also saying. Sorry, Mr. Jurgen Steinmetz, saying about trust. So I think trust is the most important core values to engage any collaboration and partnership. And I'm very much appreciated to have this WTN network to facilitate tourism industry, especially the small medium enterprises segment, to sort of like working together, whether with the government or the government enterprises that facilitate that in not only globally but also through the chapter. So I think that is, I just don't want to prolong my speech. I just would like to humbly expecting that we can collaborate because this is the first meeting that we are having. But actually, of course, the end game is to have some collaboration and partnership, and we have signing MOUs today in the afternoon in regards to GTRCNC, and then launching Mr. Jeffrey Lindman friendly club. Yeah, I think Mr. Jeffrey Lippman, Prof. Jeffrey Lippman will explain about the climate-friendly travel club. And we're going to also signing an MOU for healthcare tourism. This is something new for Indonesia, but I think we're going to have new MOU together within the stakeholders of tourism and healthcare industry to be together with two main objectives in the MOU. One is how can we sort of like having joint campaign promotions to the market. And number two is how do we have reciprocal investment opportunity between the project owner and industry of tourism and healthcare industry and healthcare players. So I think we can start. Thomas, I will leave it with you to explain what is the next.
Yes. Thank you very much. And really, all the sessions we have during this event, we always have time in between to interact. We're a very small audience here, so it's not like it would disturb. So anyone who has anything to add to it or has any ideas, how any presentation should be responded to, you're more than welcome to come in. And that's actually my question to you. We give you a little bit of background on World Tourism Network, who we are, what we do, what we're looking for, obviously, is engagement. We're looking for people that take ownership. So anyone who has a presentation, it's not only about this presentation. We would really welcome for you to stay engaged with us, and whatever is part of your presentation is something you take leadership with, and we can move as an interest group throughout our organization and chapters. I also forgot, I just got a message here. People are watching us on eTurbo News. Thank you for that. And yes, I wanted to recognize also our chair, Mr. Ali in Bangladesh. He also has been really going out of his way, organizing events in Dhaka, Bangladesh, all year around, and it's also been a great chapter. And we're really happy to have our active team in Bangladesh, and thank you for this. Thank you also for everyone for watching us. Even though you're silent in the background, I know you're quite a bit more active than us here, and so we invite everyone to join. Anyone also listening to us on our virtual platform who is not yet a member, simply go to wtn.travel and click on join. It's not the money, it's really not expensive. There are free avenues to do this, but we want you to stay engaged. And with this, I wanted to just really kick things back to the audience here and see. Yeah, sure.
Before we turn it over to the audience, just a few quick words. This was meant to be a small meeting. Therefore, try to get to know everybody here. If there are people you don't know, don't be afraid to go up and say hi. If you notice all morning, I've been doing that. Say, hi, I'm Peter Carlo. It's good to meet you. Where are you from? What do you do? What part of the tourism industry are you in? That's an exchange cards. That's the way we keep in touch afterwards. There are great ways to keep in touch on a large scale through YouTube or news, through when we have Zoom meetings, but individually meeting together is really important. And you know what? When you write to somebody on email, to the best of my knowledge, that will not impact the climate. So don't worry, Jeffrey, about that. I think we're safe. Okay, minimally impacts. Okay. I don't want to get into it. But please, and certainly a smile impacts the climate only for the positive. So Moody, you know, I love her name because her name is Moody. I translate it as she puts you in a good mood. So whenever you think of Moody, think of good mood, and smile. And smiles cost nothing. So this is the day to really today and tomorrow to get to know people, to ask questions, to try to find something new that you didn't know before. And if you can take just one thing away, then that is already a very special emotion. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jurgen, or people just would like to ask questions. This is our time to have a little interactive discussion. So does anybody have a question? Yes, sir.
I think as we get into the general group of people getting their 2 cents worth, it's important. Everybody is very important to do that. We need to liberate the governor to go back to his seat. Otherwise, he'll start asking him questions about taxes. And we don't really want that here today. So we need to ensure that the questions are to these 4 people there, not to the governor or me. It's to them that we need to ask the questions. So, but before we allow that, we will get. So, excellent. So the governor, give him a round of applause. I mean, it's a people's government.
Baik, pada kesempatan ini saya tetap memakai bahasa Indonesia, nanti ada yang bertranslate. Terima kasih kami sebagai juga pembicara di sini ya, dalam kesempatan ini menyampaikan kegiatan pariwisata dihubungkan dengan ekonomi kreatif itu sangat berat sekali.
I would like to speak about how the correlation with economic creative and tourism. And thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak here.
Ya. Inilah yang perlu kita kolaborasikan ya, antara pariwisata dan ekonomi kreatif ya. Karena kita di pemerintahan juga dalam kelembagaan itu terdapat lembaga-lembaga yang menggerakkan daripada ekonomi kreatif.
Yeah, this is what we need to collaborate between the economic creative and tourism, because actually the one in the government is the ruler, or the one who makes the rules.
Ya. Dunia pariwisata seperti masa COVID kemarin, ya, masa COVID kemarin juga mematikan terkait dengan ekonomi kreatif.
During the pandemic, that economic creative also in correlation with economic creative, which is actually stagnant, is not moving anywhere.
Ya, termasuk di dalamnya, ya, pendapatan pemerintah daerah dari pariwisata itu sangat berkepentingan, sangat didukung oleh pendapatan di bidang pariwisata. Nah, jadi oleh sebab itu pariwisata ini harus kita pelihara. Ya.
We need to actually maintain the tourism is keep going, because we learned from the pandemic. When the pandemic is happened, that it's really the income for the government from the tax, it's really very low, and that's because the government cannot support the activities.
Pemerintah akan bisa melaksanakan kegiatan dan menjalankan operasionalnya apabila tidak ada dunia pariwisata, khususnya di Bali dan di Badung, tidak akan bisa berjalan.
Without tourism, especially in Badung area, this regency in Bali, we just cannot move, because Bali is a hub of tourism for Indonesia, and most of us will live here depending on tourism.
Ya, jadi dengan demikian pariwisata di Bali, pariwisata di Badung harus kita pelihara dengan berkolaborasi dengan stakeholder yang ada.
That's why we need to collaborate with the stakeholders, everyone involved, to maintain and to make sure that the tourism in Bali and Badung is running smoothly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Terima kasih.
Can you translate this for the governor?
Bapak saya izin nanti menerjemahkan.
This is not my first time in Bali.
Ini bukan pertama kalinya saya di Bali.
And I know you have a beautiful country you have a beautiful product, and you have a wonderful tourism community here.
Saya tahu bahwa di Bali itu merupakan tempat-tempat yang indah dan juga community, orang-orang yang masyarakatnya yang luar biasa.
But you have given me the opportunity to give you a warning. And I don't mean to spoil a nice party.
Ya, sedikit saja peringatan.
Climate change will also affect Bali. And it is here and it is going to get worse.
Ya, pergantian iklim musim akan juga berpengaruh di Bali.
So, if you want to achieve a growing tourism in Bali, you need a plan B.
Ya. Jadi kita memerlukan plan B atau rencana-rencana yang lain di luar pariwisata.
In the audience today, we have at Sunex a partner in Ecotourism Bali. Stand up Ecotourism Bali, Rami.
Ya, ibu kami dari ekotourism, ya, pariwisata eko, ya, yang ada di sini.
Working with Ecotourism Bali, we will help you make a plan B.
Ya, dengan ekotourism Bali kita bisa buat sesuatu.
And it will be a Balinese plan B, and it will be based on Tri Ita Karana.
Ya,
So you can see, there's a lot more coming up, and we have the right people here. Just please stay tuned. Also, we have a surprise tonight. Besides our Heroes Award, we have a famous singer from Australia here. We're not going to give you any details because the person who has all the details is sitting next to me, and he will fill you in when it's time to fill everyone in. But it's going to be a packed program. Yes, Woody.
Sorry, ya, Pak Made, mungkin bisa diceritakan sedikit aja. Trihita Karana itu kan, it's God, it's environment, and it's people, ya. Just these three things.
Oke. Terima kasih, Bu.
Ya.
Baik, terima kasih. Ya, saya sedikit, ya, pengetahuan saya tidak banyak tentang Trihita Karana, ya. Trihita Karana itu 3 penyebab keharmonisan hidup manusia.
I just wanted to share a little bit about Trihita Karana. This Trihita Karana is 3 elements that to make the people living in harmony.
Ya. Bagaimana hubungan manusia, ya, manusia dengan Tuhan, ya, manusia dengan Tuhan itu yang pertama.
The first one is your relation with your Creator.
Yang kedua adalah bagaimana hubungan kita dengan sesama manusia.
The second one is our relation within us.
Ya, dan yang ketiga, bagaimana hubungan manusia dengan alam sekitarnya.
And the third is how our relation with the environment.
Ya, satu dengan lain itu adalah ada hubungan sebab akibat.
1, 2, and 3 is connected.
Bagaimana kita bisa memelihara alam, ya, memelihara lingkungan tanpa kita akan peduli dengan lingkungan, ya, itu adalah juga ulah manusia.
We really have to take care of our relation, especially with the environment.
Ya, alam akan bagus, alam akan bersahabat dengan manusia apabila alam itu dipelihara dengan baik.
Nature will really be friendly with us as long as we take care of the nature.
Ya, jadi 3 hal itu merupakan elemen yang sangat fundamental yang diterapkan oleh masyarakat Bali.
So those 3 elements is actually become the Balinese philosophy of the day of life.
Nah, itu sebagian sekelumit saya bisa jelaskan. Terima kasih.
Does anybody in the audience have a question that they would like to ask? If not, you've been listening to us for a long time. So I think it's good. If maybe somebody here would like to ask a question about, hopefully, the World Tourism Network and what we do and what we hope to accomplish. And more importantly, what we can accomplish in your community, in your country, in your city. I'm overwhelmed by the number of questions here.
Doctor will ask you a question. Doctor.
Is there a question in the house? Once.
Peter, that
Yes, okay, the doctor certainly must have a question.
Doctors normally have. You can ask me if we're okay.
Yes, and I teach in medical school also, so I'm used to.
Are you a medical doctor?
No, I'm not, but I would teach medical doctors about culture and how they can do diagnostics.
Wonderful. Thank you very much to eTN. Thank you very much to Rudy and my peer, Dr. Vidya from Jakarta. I'm Dr. Jainti from Kuala Lumpur, and my husband is from Sweden, Nils Wikström. Together we started the movement of the integrated regenerative medicine. I've been practicing for the past 34 years in medicine, so I'm pretty senior. And it's the very first time, actually, because I've been an organizing chairman of, I think, more than 20 international medical conferences. And this is actually the first time I'm attending a tourism conference. And I think this is an eye-opener because we need to integrate. And it's part of our ecosystem. Like, I have lots of questions. Sounds quite a bit off guard. All I know that for now is that we need each other. We truly need each other. And it's nothing after the pandemic to meet in person. I know that this goes against climate change, where we have to fly from every corner of the world to meet. But it makes a difference. Because it's the warmth and the sincerity. You cannot get this over this way. I have lots of questions. I'll save it for later. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. I'd like to say to you that I'm actually for climate change, but a different type of climate. And that is that we need to change the business climate, the human climate, and working together a climate of cooperation. And one of the important areas of climate change, in my concept, which is positive climate change, is the interaction between medicine and tourism. First of all, if the location is not healthy, it cannot succeed at all in the world of tourism. Secondly, when we are visiting, we often don't know where do we find a doctor. What is the water safe? What do we do if we get sick? These are areas that is essential for the medical world and the tourism world to get together. Thirdly, there's a whole world of what's called medical tourism. And medical tourism is a very important area. I work in medical tourism in Mexico. And many of the people who come to Mexico come specifically for medical help. And again, that means that we have to change our climate in the way we understand doctors. They are not, yes, they are healers, but they're also part of economic development. And without good medicine, you cannot have good tourism. So I cannot tell you how happy I am that you're here today, because you represent an undervalued part of the tourism industry. And we saw by the COVID-19 pandemic, when there is no health, there is no economy. So thank you so much for being with us today. Does someone else have a question?
Yes, this was definitely good feedback. And tomorrow we do have a panel where medical tourism is also part of. So stay tuned, and it's a big subject. I can tell you myself, I've experienced medical tourism when I visited the World Travel and Tourism Council conference in the Philippines, in Manila, and unfortunately came down with a flesh-eating bacteria and ended up in Makati Hospital. I've never noticed, we always, sometimes in the United States, are a little bit arrogant in thinking we have everything is the best hospital. Honestly, any place I know in Hawaii where I live, and where we have a lot of tourists, will not even come close to the service level I was experiencing myself in Manila. So medical tourism sometimes means real medical emergencies, but it also means medical opportunities. So right now, most of my doctors are back in my home country, Germany, where I haven't lived since '84, but I trust the medical world a lot better than I trusted in my current home in the United States. So we all have to learn from each other. There's not one place where medical is superior over the other place. They're different systems. And combining this with tourism, travel, and cultural experience is wonderful because we are now a connected international global world. What makes it very different from only like 20 or 30 years ago, we would have never thought about seeing a doctor in another country. But it's not like this anymore. And even if you look at the electronic age, you can get online doctors now, and you might be, when I call in the United States and want to pay my $40 to talk to a specialist, most likely I talk to someone, again, in the Philippines or in India. Very high educated doctors that take the time and give you really good advice. So it's all becoming interconnected. So I'm glad that Bali is making an attempt to be part of this world. It's an enormous opportunity. I can't wait myself to be part and listening on the session we have tomorrow.
But Jürgen, please, no more getting sick when you travel.
Thank you.
Because Jürgen is a specialist in getting to know medical tourism firsthand. And it's good to talk about it, but try to stay well.
We all want to stay well, and actually medical tourism is there to make you even better, because you can prevent getting sick, what is sometimes overlooked when you're busy at home and insurance companies tell you you cannot do the one or the other thing. So that's again where medical tourism is an opportunity. And yes, please.
If I may, because we are very much honored to be here, the chairman of Bali Medical Tourism Association, Dr. Patra, and we have also Dr. Vidya Murni from Indonesia Medical Tourism Association. So we would like to hear from Dr. Patra and Dr. Vidya about this, how can we join with tourism? Thank you.
Yes, and we're coming to the end of our introduction section here, but if there's any more comments or question on medical tourism or anything else, please, absolutely.
This gentleman down here.
Yes.
Sir?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was.
Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Vidya from Jakarta. I'm a part of Associasi Wisata Medis Indonesia. We know that at the moment, Bali is not known well for the health tourism destination, but we are sure that who come from to Bali is not they are only from the sickness person. Some of them need to be wellness. So some healthy people want to be healthier, and some sick person maybe have to rejuvenate, and maybe they not need the medication or the high-end medical treatment, but they need integrative functional medicine doctor. So we are able to do this kind of services, and we are ready to make healthy people getting healthier to Bali. So welcome to Bali and welcome to Indonesia. We are ready to make you to become wellness people.
Thank you. This gentleman here.
Okay, yeah, I'm Paul Inchevsky. I'm a real estate developer and investor. And just as this is an introduction section, so I was going to say that you have mentioned almost a very important part of this, and probably there's going to be more time during these days. As in the modern world, we see now not only climate changes, not only like these online interactions, but all those things led to more people now becoming not a tourist in resort destinations, but they become kind of citizens or like residents. And during the last several years, you can see many people, they migrated from the cities to places like Bali to stay and live here. And this is a very interesting thing, how it's going to impact tourism industry and development industry in such places, because it's a different story. Now you not only need like, accommodation places, but you also need some other things like from medicine to education, and everything become very entwined in this world. I just want to mention this as probably as an interesting topic to discuss.
I think you mentioned something which is really key, and that is the fact that if we have development of areas without planning, then instead of making the world more beautiful, we make the world ugly. And that means that when we speak about planning and development, we have to deal with it, which in a way which is valid ecologically, which is valid ethically, which is valid morally, which is valid in a way that when we develop an area, we work to make it not a blight on the world, but rather a additional beauty to the world. So thank you so much for bringing up a really essential part of tourism. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Jeff Brown from Climate Friendly Travel Club, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to speak later. I just wanted to, with the gentleman, I just wanted to address that point, if I may. When we talk about tourism, one thing that we often forget is that tourists are temporary residents. So when we're talking about the number of tourists in a destination, we're talking about, again, temporary residents along with permanent residents. And one of the mistakes that we've made as an industry, and I hope that our panel would agree with me on this, is that we've never really understood in most destinations what our capacity is. It's the most basic of questions. You know, if you go to Disneyland or Universal Studios in America and you speak to the head of those organizations, and I have done both, and if you ask them what is the capacity for Disneyland on any given day, they know to the very individual. They know to the very specific individual what the capacity is for their theme park in that particular case. And they know that if they go over that number, it will negatively impact the experience of the other visitors, as well as the experience of the attractions, the staff that work there, and everything else. We need to do that with our destinations, because it isn't, we can't just keep saying, come on, you know, we need more, whether it's temporary residents as tourists for a weekend or a week, or whether it's people who are staying a little bit longer. We can't just keep doing that. We need to understand, and that's my question for everybody here today, is when you're looking at your destination, what's the capacity? What's the maximum number of people that you've got? As the gentleman just pointed out before, it's not just about hotel beds, it's about the infrastructure. What's the infrastructure built for? What's the road system built for? What's the food system built for? Environmentally, what are those conditions? The trash, the garbage, what's that built for? And we need to understand that, because if we don't, we're headed for an absolute disaster further down the line. Because all of the indications from the UNWTO, World Travel and Tourism Council, and other basically macroeconomic factors that we've been looking at shows that tourism is set to potentially double in the next 20 years. Double. So again, to build that up for you, we went from zero tourism approximately 100 years ago to 1.5 billion thereabouts in 2019. And we're looking in the next 20 years potentially to double that in 20 years. It's a major, major problem, and we need to understand the capacity of our destinations a little bit clearer, I believe.
Thank you, that's really important.
And this is definitely also a point we absolutely should not forget. There should be an interest group within our organization. And I can tell you, living in Hawaii for the last 35 years, this is a big discussion. We temporarily banned all vacation rentals, and it came back a little bit after COVID. I can know the housing problem for local people who can no longer afford to pay rent because it's easier to sell to foreign investors and they put it out on the market for visitors. So we have the largest homeless population in Hawaii of any state in the US. So there are problems associated with all of this, and many of them, at the end of the day, are not really affecting the big guys. They're affecting the small and medium-sized enterprises. So this should be a big subject. Eventually, we're too small, but when we get there, to have this part of our overall things. Okay, Jeffrey.
Yeah, this gentleman is trying to speak. No, this gentleman.
No, sorry. Let me just quickly, before he speaks, let me just respond to my friend Thomas and my very good friend Jed. Yes, capacity management is important.
Yes.
But to manage the capacity, you have to know what the destination is going to look like in the next 5 or 10 years. And that, Governor, is why you need a Plan B. And a subset of Plan B, one of maybe 15 parts of a comprehensive tourism sector, is capacity management. But if you don't have roads and you don't have bridges because they've been washed away in storms, capacity management is just an academic subject.
Okay, yes, the microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Professor Jeffrey. We talk about Tri Cakarana. My name is Vishnu Wardana, the chairman of Tri Cakarana Foundation. Since 2000, I presented the Tri Cakarana Award for the tourism destination here in Bali, especially hotel and other destination spots. Yeah. In this moment, I want to say or to give you the best practice of the Tri Cakarana. For example, if you see the welcoming dancer today, just maybe less than 2 minutes, there are one of the representatives of the Tri Cakarana concept who follows by the family of the dancer. The oldest dancer is more than 90 years old, but he or she want to dance with their granddaughter to dance here for the welcoming. This is a very the spiritual of the Tri Cakarana here is very connected to the family trees. The family trees. That's why in Bali, the spiritual of people here and everything and every activity is connected to the family trees. And now in the global development agenda, SDGs, I think you know SDGs, the spiritual there is the goal 16 and then 17. This is the spiritual of us. And then the environment is ecological, goal number 11 until 15, and then goal number 1 to 10 is people. So it means the relationship for the people and people. This is just an sample and then the best practice for the Tri Cakarana. Thank you very much, and I hope.
Thank you very much. Dr. Alexander has a comment, and she will also, I will introduce her after this a little bit because you're going to be our first presenter and next speaker. But you have a question.
Yeah, actually, hello to everybody. I'm very happy to be here, and I would actually like to make a comment regarding the issue that we just raised. So we started with so many things, and then we ended up with the sustainable tourism development, I would say so. So that's a huge issue that we have to discuss here at this conference today. So I think government, and I'm coming from the government, they or we are talking about figures, about increasing number of arrivals, overnight stays, etc., etc. But it's not all about that. So I'm not really I'm not really fond of it, and you know, I will also talk a bit later about that. So I think we have to be very careful about it, and then also there is something that we should connect with sustainability, and that's called the destination management. So how do we actually manage destination together with it? How do we promote it related to destination marketing? When do we market destination? At what target markets? What message are we sending? Etc. Etc. The first time when I heard somehow of the sustainability issue was when I used to live and work in Seychelles, and Mr. Aman is the one also who really supported sustainability issue in Seychelles back, I don't know, 15 years ago or whatever. Who cares about years? Okay, so Seychelles are, I think, great example of the sustainability and destination. And I would like Ms. Ron Allen, if he doesn't mind, just to tell us a couple of words regarding sustainability at the moment. How do you practice it, and you know, how do you do it at this point? Okay, thank you.
So here.
Thank you very much. It's catching people off guard is not a good thing, but you see, Seychelles, like Bali, depends a lot on tourism. Bali is much bigger, we're much smaller, but we both, I'm sure Governor will realize the importance of being good custodians of what we have been blessed with. If we have something that is good, we want it to work, benefit everybody, definitely put money in the pockets of the people, but also that it is there tomorrow for your kids, and then in 2 years for your grandkids, and then it keeps stable. So sustainability, and that keyword that Mr. Brown brought up earlier, carrying capacities, is important, and tourism destinations are doing this today. And I'm sure Plan B that Jeffrey speaks about will look at carrying capacities. How do we ensure that what we have today will be there for the next generations? You see, when I was then in office, I never realized that there is an optimum number of beach chairs on the beach that is sustainable. Never realized it until we looked at Spain and realized that they had too many. So we, in one way, banned beach chairs just to be put on the beach somewhere. It has to be in front of a hotel. But I'm saying that because we became very realistic in Seychelles. Jeff knows well, he knows well, he came there as Roots, World Roots Global Conference in Seychelles. We know that if tourism is to succeed, it cannot be just for today. It is not a party that we are doing, and then we all go home and we forget about this word tourism. It has to remain. But for it to remain, it has to be sustainable. So from the buildings, from your culture, from the people, does it benefit everybody? And then we are happy and satisfied. The governor says the taxes are coming in. No, it is more than that. Today in Seychelles, the biggest talking point is how many more hotels will be built. I imposed a freeze on it 10 years ago. There'll be no more big hotels, but they've unlocked the freeze for now. They are doing some new ones. When is the final word? No, it is enough. And I think when we can do that as a country, as a government, as a people, we know we are succeeding because we are looking at future generations and not just today. And I think when Jeffrey spoke earlier, I was touched at this idea, can we sustain tourism growth? Can we really sustain? Or are we going to get to a limit and say, we've now destroyed what we had? And I think this is the question. If you look at those that flew in last night to begin with, I landed at 10:30 Bali time. And we realized that we all come from different parts of the world. We all flew here. And each plane was full. I mean, I flew in with Emirates, it was jam-packed. We must realize that there is an impact. There is a clean impact. Yes, planes are today looking at environmentally friendly planes. You are from Belarus. In the past, you will know it's a dream. It's what happened tomorrow. Have we destroyed it before? Can we really be saying to ourselves, I am guilty, having been a tourism minister. Jorgen is guilty because he produces a paper that touches tourism. Jeffrey is guilty because he was the Deputy Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization. Can we really just sit and say to ourselves, yes, we are guilty, mea culpa? Or is it not enough that we say that today, but that we rally the way we are doing now to say, let us find a solution. Let us find what we should be doing as doctors would do for somebody who is sick. Or you're looking at his face and say, you are the ideal candidate for a cardiac arrest. So if we can say that, maybe this it's off topic, probably. Maybe one of the side discussion points. If we can open a discussion group that says, what do we really do? Yes, in hindsight, we will write many books about each one of us. But that is history. What is for tomorrow? Who can really bring a book to say, the world in 2040, if we keep on going down this path, if we double world tourism in 30 years, where will we be? I think these are the questions probably. I think Seychelles has done a good job for what it is. We've protected what we have. So is Bali. They protected what we have. In different speeds, in different trajectories, in different highways. But we've all protected what we had because you still have to feed the people. The people need to be able to get something out of it. But I think maybe, Jeffrey, your mission, you pass it to me, I'll pass it to Jeffrey, should be a book that says, where are we in 2040? Where are we in 2060? Where are we in 2080? So we have an idea. If we keep on having 1 Emirates per day here, or 3 Emirates per day, and then they upgrade the Emirates to an A380, and then they bring 4 of them, can we really then drive in Bali anymore? Probably not. You need a bigger airport. You need to keep expanding, and then everything else. It's a catch-22, and it is a vicious circle. But that said, if you look at Amazon and all these high-powered people from America, because we've got 2 of them sitting here, when is enough enough? When is your bank account full enough? I think this is the question often that determines it. And this morning I had the pleasure to have breakfast with the president, with the president of the organization. And I said, America, this world leader that we have, today, and when I saw Jorgen and Peter coming up on stage holding each other, it reminded me of the American president being held up to go anywhere. But the world will have to be looking. Apart from Moody and the government, that's all we are now in the third age. We need to be looking in this book that Jeffrey will bring. Who replaces us? Who will have that vision without the experience we've picked up over the years to really say, yes, I'm a young man. I'm coming to take over, to replace this group here. But I have already the experience because I picked it from them. And this is the problem. You see, when we depart, somebody else arrives. But it starts from ground zero. So the mistakes are made again. And we keep the chain going of mistakes. and we don't learn to say, we need to pick all the brains, maybe freeze them and give it to a new person as he comes out. So he starts off on a good run. Otherwise, we will make the unsustainable developments instead of sustainable developments. I hope I've answered your concern.
You have to speak louder, don't you have a...
Or scream. Not ice cream, scream.
Okay, so don't you think that actually raising the awareness is the key issue, key point? Because at least in my country, young generations, they are not aware of what we are talking about here, or care or whatever. They are not aware how important sustainability is, how important climate change is, and all these knowledge that we have. So I think that's the point. Education and educating our youngsters from the kindergartens, not from the primary schools. So from my point of view, I think that's the kind of solution.
Alan, I think, I don't want to have just a cross conversation, because other people are raising their hand.
Yes.
So I know few other people have been trying to speak.
Madam is before you. She's been going for a long
Okay, just for your information, we're a little bit over time with this, but I don't want to interrupt this discussion because it's all we want. And Alexandra is the next speaker, so she cut herself off for a few minutes, so that's okay.
Well, thank you very much for the microphone. I'm gently trying to raise my hand, and I eventually was successful getting up here. My name is Dr. Birgit Trower. I'm from Australia. Originally I'm German. And my background is actually industry. I've worked in all kinds of industry, airlines, consultancy, travel agencies, wholesale, tour guiding, I know the whole industry now. And then I got into academia at a very late age. As a curate, I started my undergraduate degree at 39 years of age, going through divorce with 2 little children. So that's a woman's story coming into the whole notion we're talking about. What are we looking at? What is our experience? Now, 3 key aspects were the race, sustainability, is it gender, the ecological health, we talk about health tourism, the psychological health, Peter, thank you very much, the economic health, they're all intertwined. And we are all here and quite aware of the interconnection. Nothing is in isolation. And when we're looking at all of that, we are here as a think tank, we are looking at mindset shifts. And that is the beginning, I think, because we as humans, we make the decision. Of course, now nature has taken over and makes their decision. We're impacted by that. So we are on the receiving end. So where are we at? Who are we? We are here today, for the next couple of days, hopefully have these discussions. I'm very passionate about sustainability, and I'm also very passionate in all of this, which is the impact that we have on the environment. We have talked about biosphere, which is the ecologic biosphere, and the psychological biosphere. Who are we as people in relationships? How are we getting on? When we look at global wars, we're fighting because of lack of resources and impact that we are witnessing around the world, including climate change. So the big agenda is sustainability, and we can elevate that into the notion of peace. And peace is interaction between peace with people, peace with the environment. And it comes back to Karana, the same principles. Are we all there? Are we all on the same page? And that's what we need to actually educate young people about. They do know, but they are fearful. They try to live life. That's why we're watching all the rising numbers of tourists. They just want to live life. We're talking about fear of missing out, FOMO, trends in society, Peter Pan syndrome, no responsibility, no accountability. That is a societal trend. Tourism is a microcosm of society, and those ways we'll talk about real estate development, etc. Nothing is ever in isolation. Yes, tourism is a big one. It has not received enough attention in many places, and I think that's what we're here for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your feedback, Birgit. You're going to be on at 4:40 this afternoon. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about this subject. We can continue this discussion. I wanted to thank everyone of our founders here, and maybe we can start with our regular session. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Patra, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're the last before we go to our regular session.
So thank you very much. I'm Dr. Billy Parker, the chairman of Bali Medical Tourism Association. Thank you very much for inviting me to come to this meeting. Yeah, BMT, Bali Medical Tourism Association, is mean I start to learn about the health tourism. So we know that Bali is famous for the tourism. We have resources for the healthcare provider like hospital, clinic, and etc. And because the regulation is more completely, and I look at this, it is the right time we start to learn about the health tourism. So there are four focus that our program. The first is medical tourism. It means that the sick people come to Bali, they have the treatment. And then the second is about the medical wellness tourism. Is help people come to join, and we design that there is integrated between the medical, the alternative Balinese medicine or complementary, and with the culture. So the package is not only one day, but maybe 7 until etc. And the third is about the sport tourism. And the fourth is about the health scientific tourism. So this is my focus. Maybe tomorrow I will be explaining more about our program. Thank you very much.
We're looking forward, and thank you Liam, for everyone giving this feedback on our baby here, the World Tourism Network. And I think there's going to be a lot more to come. And we really have to get moving. We have 2 presentations before lunch, and they're both very good, so you don't want to miss them. And we're going to get into education and all of this during this event. And if okay, I wanted to, Dr. Alexander, I can never pronounce your last name, but she's such a good friend. I've actually visited her in Montenegro. She's the director of tourism in her country, and she has been with World Tourism Network even before she became the director of tourism, and essential during the COVID discussion. So we've become good friends. I've visited your country, what is another pearl of an example of tourism sustainability and so forth. So she knows what she's talking about. She represents Montenegro at the UNWTO and many other international events. And she's the only one in this capacity joining us from Europe. So you can speak not only from Montenegro, also for the other Balkan areas, and as an affiliated member of the European Union. So Europe is your territory, and she'll be joined later on by Tanja Milhacic, after the next session, from the School of Business and Economics in the University of Ljubljana in Slovenia, a country not too far away from Montenegro. So,
just before you go, can we stand here and have a photo together? I think, yeah. Otherwise, you won't have anything on eTN.
Okay. We do a photo and then.
Maybe grab the book at the same time. Where's your?
Sorry, it should be meant that you end up.
No, then we're the one just without the book. Come on, Doctor Peter.
This is the photo. This is a publicity.
Yeah.
We're going to give him the title Director of Marketing now.
You are now without the book because it should be for you and them.
Okay, without the book now. Never take a book from
Yes, I can. I can. It's okay. Thank you.
1 second, there's one more there.
You want more?
Now I need to go back.
All right, you can buy the book on Amazon. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. And without further ado, I want to give it back to our Master of Ceremonies so she can give the floor to Alexandra. There she is. Okay, thank you very much.
So, yeah, that was once again to our first panel discussion. Thank you very much. We would like to welcome Dr. Alessandra, the Director of Tourism from Montenegro.
We have to have somebody who works with you locally. Discuss it. Let me introduce you. Sorry, Yuri. Satu, dua, tiga.
Ladies and gentlemen, before Dr. Alessandra starts, we would like to play a video about Montenegro.
Isolasi itu akhir relasi selain pemalu berikan berish adalah prozračný i čistý. Jedinství i náš. Vzbudíme Jeruša i Toga. Vy i potom jsme dobro znání i uvijek novi. Među svim tim licima teško je biti sam.
So, dear tourism friends, dear all, dear organizers, dear hosts, first of all, I have to admit that I'm indeed troubled at the moment. How can I say anything interesting after such as great speakers that we had on the stage? But I will try my best. It is my real pleasure and honor to be here at the occasion of the first WTN on-site conference here in beautiful Bali. Let me first congratulate all of you, the World Tourism Day. Salamat Hari Pariwisati Dunia. So, it has been marked 2 days ago, but I hope that we will have three more beautiful and prospective days in the years and in the year to come. So this is, and I would like to say that I'm proud mom of 2 young men. I'm proud daughter, happy life, and the rest is written on the screen. I'm also WTN Executive Board member. I work as a consultant for Saudi Arabia, Royal Commission of Rural, Deputy Minister of Tourism or Director General, representative of some organizations, and I have to mention that I used to be Honorary Consul of Seychelles, which is on hold at the moment because I cannot really work for one government and represent the interest of the other one. So when I stop working here, I'll be back to this position, I hope. So this is about Montenegro. Montenegro is, as you could see, now a member of WTN. It is a very small country. It is all in one destination where we perform tourism 365 days a year. It is very small in area, but great in hospitality. At one of the projects and the comments when WTO has said that we are the last undiscovered pearl of Europe. Here are some statistical data, and you can actually see how small we are comparing to the rest of Europe. We have only around 600,000 people living there, but we also have a very great climate. We have you know, great beaches, great landscape, and the point is that which makes us unique, that at some stage you can go swimming, and at the same time you can go skiing up there in the mountains, and where like ski or the seaside is like 1 hour away from our mountains. We have unique and old towns, rich in history and culture, and you've seen that on the video. We have many luxury resorts, 5 and 4 stars hotel. We have tourism diversification. We are working on it, so we have various activities, as you could see. And what I would also like to mention that we are really pointing out and trying to promote our rural tourism, our medical tourism, and different kinds of tourism. We have great gastronomy. We have a traditional cuisine that we are very famous about. We have Mediterranean cuisine in the central and sea coast, as well as a specific kind of cuisine up there in the mountains. But we also have international cuisines like Italian, Chinese. Soon we will have Bali cuisine on our menus, I'm sure. So we are very much a tourism-oriented economy, and you can see the figures. So tourism is 30% of our GDP, which is a bit too much, but that's how it is. 31% of our population is employed in tourism, 50% are women, 55% expert. But what is important that we fully recovered from COVID-19. These are some statistical data. I will not go into details because I have to save some time, as Jürgen warned me. So we really have increase in revenue, in tourism arrivals, tourist arrivals, overnight stays. So you see, we have like in revenue, we have 70% more than in 2019. But these are the data for Q2 because we don't have data for Q3 ready yet. What is so important for us is that we are really trying to increase the length of stay of our tourists, to keep them longer in the destination, and of course to make them feel better, and in the end to make them spend more at our destination, of course. So here is something about European tourism mindset that I would like to mention. As you can see, and as we all know, Europe is a global leader in international tourism. Roughly, it accounts 2/3 of international tourism arrivals worldwide. The, European travelers are fully ready to travel, even though they have concerns related to, of course, geopolitical crises and inflation. And somebody would say that Europe is a game changer for tourism. Maybe yes, maybe no. But what we learn due to COVID time is actually that no one is a game changer, and no one can win unless we all win in this kind of complicated game. So, what is also important to say is that tourists from Europe have changed their mindset. They are not interested in passive vacation anymore, but they want to have experience, want to visit attractions, want to do things the way locals do, want to gain experience from locals. And they want, of course, to eat local food, they want to travel with locals, so they choose. Talking about locals, they actually choose the destinations where level of sustainability is very high. And we also, of course, have to know more locals are involved in tourism, more sustainable destination is for sure. Recently, we talked about tourism growth, and the question is what tourism growth is and how can we achieve it? Is it statistical data increase? Yes, but no. Each growth is not a success story, I would say. So how to stimulate it? Investments are definitely key pillar of tourism growth, but not any investments. Investments have to be green, and all the stakeholders have to be involved. People have to benefit from that. Young people, locals, tourists, governments, private sector, everybody. We have to invest in education, of course, in getting skilled labor, because we have a big issue about it. Only tourism-educated nation can deliver high-class tourism service. Of course, we have to support and invest in SMEs, in innovation, digitalization, investing in planet and our future, what we talked about recently. What about government? What about my government, Indonesian government, all the governments all over the world? This is what we have to do. We have to create competitive business environment. We have to motivate investors to come and invest in our countries, but we also have to make sure that our countries are stable politically, because we have that issue all over the world, I would say. As we all know, investors are not going to come to invest in economies which are not stable from political point of view. Of course, government has to promote investments internationally, it has to promote private investments, and it has to create incentives for SMEs. That's the main point, I would say. What about SMEs in Montenegro? 90% of our industry are SMEs. Talking about guest houses, apartments, restaurants, taxi businesses, transportation, everything. So we have to have a supportive approach, and we do have it. Government has stimulative approach towards these businesses, maybe not as stimulative as it should be, as our economy is not that developed, but we do give support to our industry. I wish we could finance them more, because it's never too much of a support to SMEs. For example, we have these days, we have ongoing open call for SMEs within the directorate that I'm heading, and we have it a couple of times per year. So we are actually inviting all SMEs to apply for financial help if they want to develop rural tourism, medical tourism, digitalization, if they want to develop rural households which are classical form of SMEs. So they are all invited, and we are really supporting them financially. And this is what each government should do, definitely. Talking about challenges from European perspective, as we have talked, the list is long, and we could talk during the whole conference about this, but we shouldn't, of course. We already discussed a couple of points. I would like to mention the destination management versus destination marketing. I think we are kind of mixing up these two, especially undeveloped countries or countries which are in transition, because many institutions think that these two things are the same. They are not, definitely, and this is what we have to go for. On the other side, air connectivity, you also heard talks about it. We need more planes, we need more airline routes, but we have to do it in a smart way. Us in Montenegro, we have an issue about this question. And often I call Montenegro an island, even though we are surrounded from 3 sides by land, but on the only at the one side we have water, but I call it island because the easiest way is to get to Montenegro by plane, because roads taking tourists to Montenegro are still not that good. So we are an island and we have to solve this issue. Gender gap, this is something which is bothering all of us. And of course, sustainability, and sustainability. So, ladies first, today more than ever our industry needs skillful men and women. Empowering women is not a situation where men lose and women win. This is the win-win situation for all, not only for women and men, but for our families, industries, countries, for our planet. This is the matter of balance that we have to achieve. At this moment, the situation is completely unbalanced, I would say, in favor of men. And this is a situation where we actually all lose. So here are some data. We have 55% of workforce in Europe are women. Only 17% of us are at the managerial positions, 5% hotels, general managers, 6% in airline management, 6% in transportation. So Montenegro is trying to improve this situation, and we are really arranging and making different kind of projects and incentives to support women in tourism, especially in rural and medical tourism. And this is what I would advise each government. Sustainability, multiplied by million. This is a must in today's world, and I have to mention tourists have changed their mindset, and they dominantly choose sustainable destination. Implementation of sustainable practices means minimizing the negative impact of tourism on environment, society, and economy. This is a win-win solution for all, for SMEs, for governments, for locals, for tourists, for everybody. We should develop, and this is what we are doing in Montenegro, we are developing sustainable standards for destination and sustainable standards for hotel industry, meaning for tourism industry, meaning for hotels and tour operators. Montenegro recently became GSTC member. This is Global Sustainable Tourism Council organization, but and we started implementing their standards at our destination and within our hotel industry. I am the one representing Montenegro in this organization, and this is maybe easier way to do it when it comes to standard implementation, but on the other side, maybe more effective way to do it is if each destination create its own standard, because we all know the best what we need the most. So this is how maybe Indonesia and Bali should approach it, and of course us, Montenegro, is available to help. I would also like to mention our national tourism strategy, where we actually paid a lot of attention to sustainable tourism and engaging local community in our tourism. And I think I will finish my presentation with words of a great man who is not here with us today, but maybe he's following us online during our WTN Zoom meetings and great events, online events that we had. Mr. Tal Rifai said this once, and I remembered it, and I'm going to share it with you. What he said is that only happy hosts can make tourists happy. So with this, I will finish. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you have any questions, please. Yes.
We try to find that.
Okay, so for Miss Swaplitz, I hope I didn't butcher the pronunciation.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm interested in the, okay, so I'm Norway, I'm from Singapore, in Indonesia. I'm more interested about the workforce issue. So while looking at your presentation and the term of reference, I have a question. Question is, while promoting community engagement and gender diversity, what challenges Montenegro encountered and what solutions or strategies are being used to overcome these challenges? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Yes, as the rest of the world, we are facing huge difficulties regarding workforce. We do have many educational institutions producing future tourism experts, but what is lacking at our destination and what we have to improve is kind of technical, practical training about the students coming out of those institutions. As a government, we are trying actually to link industry with the colleges, universities, even high schools that have like tourism courses within their programs. And we have many initiatives, working groups. We are also connecting with different institutions and even trying to support institutions financially to motivate them to involve those young people and to give them practical training at the spot, at least during the high season, because still in Montenegro we have the situation where we have high season lasting 4 months, 5 months, which is not really enough. We do practice tourism 365 days a year, but the high season lasts like four months, let's say. So we are trying to make bridge between institutions and educational institutions and tourism industry. And we are also giving a lot of incentives to all of them, to all the institutions which involve our young students in the process and in the industry. So, yeah.
Hello. Good morning, Doctor. My name is Rami, and I would like to ask about maybe a little context first. In Bali, the small medium enterprise are impacted because there's no tourists, and then they need to shift to digitalization. So they need to learn how to sell in TikTok or Facebook. Is there any best case that you can share about your SME, creative economy in your country? What happened during pandemic and how did you overcome it to support the tourism? Because in Bali, we really depend on tourism. But then at the end, if everything goes digital, then the experience is less. And it's really kind of like shifted. So how, if you have any example.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Yes, we are all talking about digitalization all over the world. But to be honest, we still have challenge with that issue. So, and not only Montenegro, I think the whole world has a challenge when it comes to tourism digitalization, and but also on the other side, it's not good if we do too much of it. So we have to find balance, and everything in tourism and in our life is about finding balance. But definitely those SMEs, and we have a lot of them in Montenegro who practice digitalization, they are definitely better positioned on the market. What we also propose to all the SMEs, and we conducted many trainings on that issue, that they should use digital way of promotion, of promoting their businesses. Recently, like maybe 2 years ago, they haven't been really using digital marketing a lot. Now they're doing it at a high scale. And I think what the government did it very well together with the National Tourism Organization of Montenegro. We provided so many trainings for SMEs, how to do it. We gave them actually practical trainings. We even had a working group who was helping them practically on site how to do it, especially when it comes, for example, to rural tourism, because people living up there in mountains, they're not really digitally educated, capable enough. So we are really, trying to help them, to offer actually them practical help, and always to maintain the balance between, things going like too much digital and the real experience that they can have on spot. But what is very important is, and what we insist when talking to them and when educating them, is that they should never present on digital channels something which is not like that in real life. Because the worst thing is if a tourist comes and he or she gets disappointed with what he finds at the destination. We also have many applications for tourists to get around easily. We have like digital tour guides for specific regions of Montenegro. We have also digital platforms for our accommodation, for our attractions. So there are many platforms and digital solutions that we offer. But it all can be even better, and we are working on it.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to ask a question about, you mentioned in your wonderful presentation about how in some regards Montenegro can be viewed a little bit like an island, a small island nation really. And that sort of made me think about, I'm one of those people, I've wanted to visit Montenegro for such a long time, because I've studied an awful lot about Montenegro actually, and it looks an amazing destination, and I know a lot of the hoteliers in Montenegro, and they're amazing people, do amazing things on sustainability, by the way, I must say as well. But one question that I have for you is, you're quite, as a tourism destination, you're quite reliant on airlift, naturally. Airlift. Airlines.
Oh, yeah.
So airlift is the only, you mentioned in your presentation, it's one of the only practical ways to arrive. Do you get concerned when there are movements, environmental movements, like flight shaming, when people are saying, oh, we shouldn't be flying as much? Does that make you, as a director for the tourism, does that make you a little bit nervous? Like, if people stop flying, then that's our tourism economy cuts off. The tourism economy, as you said, your GDP was worth 30% or more. So it's just how much of a concern do you have for the reliance on airlines and airlift, knowing that they are big emitters and it's an environmental challenge? And how do you deal with it?
It's a very, very difficult question. And people who know me, my friend, they know that I'm always very, very honest. First of all, thank you for your comments about Montenegro, and of course you and everybody is welcome to visit our country. And let me also use this opportunity to announce the big conference that we are going to have in May next year. It's called Region Tourism Destination Conference. We had one in May this year, and we are going to have another one in May next year. So you are actually all invited. And regarding the airline issue, I used to work as a director of national company, marketing and corporate communication director of national airline for almost 15 years. So kerosene is in my veins, and I'm so, that's my passion. But we have a huge challenge when it comes to airline connectivity. We used to have national airline called Montenegro Airlines, which just bankrupt during the COVID time. Now we have new airline called Air Montenegro, but the roads and the connectivity they have, it's not good. And it's not good enough, actually. So we need much more of a support when it comes to airline connectivity. Me, being aware of you just said that we have to be very careful about inviting airlines in huge numbers. I'm in a kind of strange situation because we need airlines. I'm inviting airlines. We are inviting airlines. Are working hard on getting many airlines in Montenegro. But on the other side, I'm very much aware of what you said. But on the other side, we also raised the question of awareness when it comes to sustainability. This is what is missing in Montenegro, and I think in the whole Europe, and maybe more in smaller states than in bigger states. So this is probably the answer. I mean, the answer without giving you a real answer, but by heart, if I take into consideration my emotions, I wouldn't like that many airlines to come to Montenegro. But on the other side, we desperately need them. So
it's hard, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So any more questions? Okay. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Alexandra. Wow, beautiful video. I would like to go there one day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now proceed for lunch, and lunch will be served at Pandawa Room in the 6th floor. But the 6th floor is not up and down, right? But there's the hotel staff would like to guide you in the entrance of the escalator. Good appetit. Kindly please be back here.